Welcome to FundForum Asia 2017. I'm Sarah Clarke, coming to you from the JW Marriott in Hong Kong. Now joining me is Remi Toucheboeuf from the BNP Paribas. He's the Head of Asset and Fund Services Product in Asia, and he's here to discuss some of the key issues that we've been discussing at this conference, and that includes cross-border distribution. Thank you very much for joining us, Remi.
Thank you.
Let's start with market trends. How does Asia compare to Europe when it comes to cross-border distribution, and is there still market fragmentation in Asia?
Yeah, definitely. I think fund managers who are operating in Asia can feel the power of the market fragmentation. There is no dedicated vehicle that allow you really to distribute in all of this market. We see a little bit of usage product being accepted and recognized in some of this market, Cayman as well, but so far none passporting initiative has been really so successful to cover all of the scope.
Okay, looking at the cross-border trends, how can fund managers benefit from new passporting, particularly, again, looking at the region here?
I think it's quite interesting. We had a couple of clients who have been really taking benefit of existing fund structure and consolidating on their regional distribution network. They have been expanding the distribution of this fund into new jurisdiction. And it's quite interesting because in that case, you don't need really to change your product. You don't need to go for a very complex and expensive usage structure, but you really leverage on your existing fund, and then you can really increase the asset pool, and you can really lower the TR on your fund. So this is really the beginning of what we see. We expect more and more development, but this is going to take some time before really being sizable. Okay,
looking at some of the barriers that may be a hurdle to some of the the fund managers in Asia. What would be identify the key hurdle?
Yeah, I think first of all, there are still very strong currency control in Asia. So looking, for instance, at the CIS ASEAN passport, we had some clients who have been really struggling with, for instance, the distribution in Malaysia because of MYR not being really very free currency. So that means you need to put in place some specific FX process. The language is as well a very strong barrier because you need to set up your prospectus in different language to really accommodate the local requirements. So we see as well some very specific requirements in terms of tax. So all of these things will need to be taken into account with the ongoing Asia Fund Region Fund Passport, for instance, because this is key that things are resolved from day one.
Okay, digitalisation, how has that been impacting the markets in the region and particularly China?
I think it was interesting to listen today what was discussed about digital. Everyone knows that digital is at the heart of the disruption. So now the thing is, how can you leverage on digital? I think it's interesting to look at the Chinese example because through the mutual fund recognition scheme, we have seen that some of these funds have gone only to online distribution. So it's not only now a mix between the traditional and the digital, it's purely digital. But is it enough? Can you cover all your investor expectation? And on top of that, how do we handle the regulatory requirement like KYC and so on? But definitely this is something that a fund manager needs to take into account.
Okay, looking at the mutual fund recognition, the agreement between Hong Kong and Switzerland, how is that progressing?
So, pretty well, actually. Because when you think about it, the scheme has been announced just a few months ago. We have existing clients who have already gone through some due diligence and active processing. This is really for us a new kind of distribution trend. Bilateral is making the things much easier than the large passporting initiative. At the end of the day, it's an open door to Europe, and Europe is still a very large market, and it does not require specific requirement. You can leverage on your existing fund. You have to appoint a fund representative and a paying agent in Switzerland. That's something we can provide as well, and then you're done. So a big expectation with this new scheme.
Looking at the outlook then for the mutual fund recognition and these bilateral agreements, can you see other countries taking up similar agreements?
Yeah, so without doing too much of the fiction, but we know that SFC has said that they want to continue with this kind of bilateral discussion. So we expect some other jurisdiction like France, for instance, to be in the next wave. We also expect more and more discussion between China and Europe. So probably UK at the beginning, but some other jurisdictions. So this is going to be an exciting year.
Okay, Remi Toucheboeuf, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
That's all we have time for at FundForum Asia 2017. You can follow the conversation on Twitter. Look for the hashtag FFAsia, or you can also look for @FundForum. Thanks for joining us.